All right then, let's get to it. Today on the British Matt Harker Show, we have an exciting time for you, old chap, my bean. We're going to be getting into the British versions of the content that you've seen on the American Matt Harker Show, but it's going to happen with respect and dignity. We're all very excited here. We've been working around the clock to bring you family-friendly Matt Harker jokes. So expect the rambling from before, but it's toned back a bit, as does the British do, and it is made with a fake accent that is not British at all. We're very happy to have you here on the British Matt Harker Show. Cheerio, old beans. Cheerio. Not to be confused with the cereal. We do not have the copyright to that. Even though Cheerio is actually Cheerios, and it's a separate thing. British people don't like cereal. We don't eat it. We don't like it. It's not in England. God save the Queen. God isn't real. Most prominent atheists seem to be British. They don't believe in a God. They travel around the world talking about how he is not real, but they still say that thing. Why is he saving the Queen? And why are we assuming God is a he? English is a terrible subject, and I recommend it for no one. Do not travel to Europe. Good night. Hello there, and welcome to the Mad Hacker Show. Hello there, and welcome to the Matt Harker Show, where we are together. We're finally married, you and I. It's been a long time coming. I'm excited. I really am. Our wedding is going to be perfect. It's going to be magical. For you and I to just sit down and exchange our vows and just look into each other's eyes and say I do, and just talk about all the memories that we've made together. And and I like that. I like that about a wedding. I'm a big fan of weddings. I grew up loving weddings when my friends were playing Jedi versus Sith or Cowboys versus Manifest Destiny. I always thought, this is the game I want to play. I want to play wedding. And so I got a bunch of the lads together and we sat down and we played wedding, and we would draw straws to see who the bride would be, and we all had a great time as kids then. It was fun, the parents sometimes joined in, the neighbors would watch. It was sort of a celebration almost. And while in my later years I questioned the authenticity of all of this, as I do most things in my past, I know I had a good time with the lads, and playing wedding with the boys is just something that every guy should do with his friends. So I highly recommend that if you're hanging out with the bros right now, pull them all together, get them aside, whatever you're doing, just huddle up, like you do when you're watching the game, and say, hey, let's go for a round of wedding. Then someone gets the wedding ball, and you just give it the old toss, and then you give the skin the old rub. You just have a nice, fantastic game of wedding ball. Now, Wedding Ball is one of those things that not a lot of people know the rules to. So just to sort of heighten your understanding of Wedding Ball basically has two goalies, one bride, one groom, one flower baron, one flower maiden, and then finally the Olympic medalist piano player. Now, the ring baron and the ring maiden are competing. They have competing ring goals. The ring baron is trying to confiscate the ring and ruin the wedding. Now, the ring maiden is trying to give, or the ring bearer, I don't know. There's the ring. The point that I'm trying to make here is that Weddingball is a fun game. So anyway, the ring baron, his goal is to kidnap the ring, and he automatically wins if he can do it. However, the ring maiden has to keep the ring safe for the wedding in time. Now, none of the other characters are applicable to these specific situations. As long as the ring baron doesn't achieve his goal of capturing the ring, the game can be won by any number of players, with the only guarantee of loss happening to the ring baron. Now, the ring maiden must keep the ring secret. Now, here's what's interesting here. She or he are allowed to... By the way, the ring baron is always a guy. It can never be a girl. The ring maiden can be a girl or a guy, depending on the situation, but that neither here nor there. Anyway, the ring maiden must keep the ring safe at all times. However, the ring maiden must not keep the ring on her person, but she must always be looking in the direction of where the ring is hidden. Now, you might be thinking that just gives it away, wouldn't it? Well, see, that's where it gets interesting. The piano player is aware of the direction that the ring maiden hid the ring. The piano player also, when their song is playing, the ring baron cannot access that specific area. As long as the piano player continues to make music, the game goes on and the ring baron cannot obtain the ring. However, the ring baron is allowed to stop the piano player however they feel necessary, without destroying the piano. They can destroy the piano player. However, the piano player can use their Olympic medal by sacrificing it, creating an immunity point which the ring baron cannot overcome for the game. This all, however, can still be overcome by the ring baron and the ring maiden if the ring maiden decides to do advanced gameplay before the game starts and choosing, and I mean this is a choice, you don't have to do this, to keep the ring within a rotating position around herself that is readjusted every 15 minutes. Now, the ring maiden must choose a new location every 15 minutes and must observe that location, so it cannot be consistent. The ring baron has 15-minute intervals to obtain the ring. If the ring baron does not obtain it within those 15-minute intervals, the ring baron must step outside the wedding area and must reset. Meanwhile, the groom and the bride are tossing the wedding ball around. Now, the wedding ball is, it's sort of like a keep-away game from the flower bearer. The flower bearer is trying to capture the wedding ball. If the flower bearer obtains the wedding ball, then the wedding ball is now in play officially for the wedding to start. If the flower bearer then starts play for the wedding, the groom and the bride must then begin their wedding. Now, the groom and the bride can still win the game. However, there are certain stipulations, so they must now get the ring. Once this happens and this begins, the flower maiden or the flower person, the flower thing, the flower poop, I don't know. Look, the flower, whatever you want it to be. Okay, just stop bothering about the terms. So the flower maiden has to then obtain the ring, and she is now, or he is now, playing a game against the ring baron. Now, the flower maiden may trade the ball to the ring baron. This then allows the ring baron to become a new flower maiden for a new wedding, thus officiating a new game that they can then win if they can get their bride and groom to marry before the previous bride and groom. Now, if the bride and groom do marry in the original wedding, they technically win the game. However, they can win the game by simply outlasting the flower maiden by never giving up the wedding ball. Now, at the end of the game, whoever has the wedding ball gets the most points that just sort of open points. And everything is sort of calculated at the end, but the wedding ball is worth 500 points. Getting married is worth 200 points. And it counts as a guaranteed win. You're guaranteed win if you get married, unless the optional pastor and or rabbi player and or Power Ranger and or pizza mascot player decides that they want to officiate a second wedding ball into the game, before the second wedding takes place. This can allow 3 separate weddings to take place, all with a variety of scores, and brides and grooms from those weddings all can score points. If 2 bride and grooms get married, then there is a tie, and whoever has the wedding ball then becomes a tiebreaker. And in addition to this, those individual chapels have collective points. If an individual has the wedding ball that plays the same role as another individual in the other chapel, their points cancel out. So just a lot of things to consider. I know it's a very complicated game, but I highly recommend it to all those that are interested in the game of Weddingball. It's very fun, highly worth it. Something to consider. Anyway, we have an interview today. It's here. Hello there, and welcome to the Matt Hawker Show. So I know you're here today, and I'm about to tell you to go, but I'm not yet because I want you to stay a little longer. And with that in mind, I have 2 things I'm going to ask you. Oh, no. I appreciate you. I just want to get that out of the way. I appreciate you so much. And I just wanted to go ahead and get a little bit of information for you.
You're the sweetest, Matt.
Thank you. But I was curious. Can I get your date of birth real fast?
1967.
All right. Now, could I get the date of birth, but one day before your date of birth?
No.
Okay, cool. All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself. What's your podcast? What are you all about? Where are you from? And what is your favorite pie? Go ahead.
My favorite pie is coconut cream. We can do this in reverse, right?
Okay. Sure, yeah, whatever order, however you want to do it, no problem.
Coconut cream. I am the master of my worst holiday, and I'm from LaSalle, Illinois.
That sounds very mediocre. I'm sorry you're from there. I'm sorry I'm from here, honestly. It's
You think it sounds mediocre? You should be here.
Oh man, I don't want to be there. That is, therein lies the problem. I don't want to be anywhere, man. I have been trying to wipe myself clean from this world for as long as you can remember. The problem is though, I'm more of a believer.
You should join them.
I see. Here's the thing. Here's the way I see it. I see a lot of people out there, they off themselves and it's terrible and it's sad and all that. But I think if you really want to commit suicide, if you really want to just go, you have to erase every 5 of your existence.
You actually get judged on it. Like a 1 out of 10 rating on it. So how did you take your life and where did it rate?
Yeah, exactly. But just more than that though, I think you should erase everything. You should get rid of your room, your property, every connection. You have to erase yourself. If you're in a history book, basically, you got to wipe yourself clean of that crap. You got to get rid of all the letters you sent out. You got to go around and start collecting your stuff and just burn it all. I mean, you can't truly.
So is this like reinventing it?
Yeah, basically, but you can't truly kill yourself unless no one knew you existed in the first place. Otherwise, you're immortalized through time as you travel to the hearts of the loved ones in your life and the people that'll choose to remember you.
Well,
the fact of the matter is, I'm sorry.
I am a solipsist.
I'm a little sloppy too sometimes, and I do get a little messy. I'm not going to lie to you. Things get a little messed up, and sometimes I try to store things in between my butt cheeks to hide them, to try to clean the room really quickly. But then sometimes
circles I've heard.
Yeah, has your mom ever beaten you before? Because my mom beats me every day.
Absolutely. How do comedy comes from pain, lots and lots of pain.
That's what I heard, but I think personally, I think pain comes from comedy, and generally, my whole thing is that if I'm trying to make a joke, it's usually because I'm trying to lead someone into hurting me. I'll say what ba boo ba 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 do, and then someone will just start just stabbing me. Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of my whole thing. I made my podcast so more people would beat me up, and this sort of just ties into my whole I want to erase myself from existence thing. I don't like to refer to it as a path. I like to refer to it as a destiny.
A road to an ass kicking.
Yeah, exactly. A road to an ass kicking. I'm tripping down this road 1 foot at a time, and I'm tripping into those feet, and they are just walloping me. So I gotta know something, and feel free to lie to me if you want to. That's totally
Absolutely.
Cool. Do you ever wish that you could travel to the future and just have a ton of kids, and then go to the past and not have any kids?
No.
Okay, all right, cool. I feel like we're getting a lot covered here, a lot established. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make a noise now, and I just want to see how you react to it. All right, just hear me out on this one. All right.
I think it was a bass line from the Pixies. Oh, old school Beatles. Yeah. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. From anything with an exoskeleton. No.
What did you think of that?
I think it was a bass line from the Pixies.
You're close. It was actually the lead guitarist's solo act in the original The Beatles, not the new Beatles. I don't know if you've listened to the new Beatles, but they have a whole new thing going on now. But I'm talking about OG Beatles. The original bug band.
Yeah.
The original bug band. Back when they were literally Beatles, as opposed to this new human Beatle crap, which is ridiculous, by the way.
Exactly.
I hate it when, humans just steal, music acts from animals and insects. Like, look at the Doors.
From anything with an exoskeleton.
Look at the Doors. Yeah, exactly. You know what the original Doors band was?
No.
It was a bunch of toes that got stubbed on doors, and they wanted to tell the world about it. It was literally a toe band.
So,
and then a bunch of people stole the
music sound like like that.
Yes, that's exactly how it sounded like. And you're one of the first people I've spoken to that knows what I'm talking about here. Like, everyone thinks the Doors, they're this great human, but they're not. It's a toe band. You got to listen to the toes, man.
Hey, I like their big
Oh God, that was that was a classic, and that one followed up right after the Stubbin' Again, My Story, and it was a great collection. I really need to get it on vinyl, and I don't have a record player, so usually when I buy records, I just sort of cut them up and light them on fire. But I need, that's something I've been looking into.
Well, they taste great too on certain dippings.
Oh, do you collect vinyl? Do you collect records?
Oh, no, I collect more plastic than vinyl.
Ah, okay. Is this like recycled plastic? I mean, I'm sure you're green, right? As opposed to purple.
I mean, it's seriously a collection if I recycled it.
Oh, yeah, fair. I've always wondered that if you put a child in a recycling bin, if whatever recycling center you sent them to would harvest their resources to be recycled.
It could be. Oh, however, I was at Walmart the other day and I seen a safe drop sign, and then right below it, I shit you not, was a trash can.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't even know Walmart existed until just now. Honestly, what is a Walmart?
It's a place that sells walls.
Tear down that wall. Tear down that wall. Tear down that wall. Tear down that wall. Do you think Ronald Reagan would love me, as a son?
I think it was a bass line from the Pixies.
All right, it's time now for a Clifford book review. It's been a while since we've had the Clifford, and I'm very excited to get back into it. Clifford, of course, is my favorite character for my favorite book series of all time. I've been reading, and reviewing Clifford books for quite a while. I've only done one review on the show previous. We're going to go into the second one now. This book is called Clifford Runs to Storytime. It's 6:54 p.m. on a breezy Chicago morning. Clifford is late for Storytime TM. At the time of writing, Bridwell began finalizing the papers for his divorce. Emily Elizabeth splayed against a corner of her living room, a muddied needle sticking from her arm. Johnny, a paper boy whose father beats him and forces him to wear dresses and dance like Mommy used to, tosses the last rag for the rich onto a dirty pulpit which had once promised pizzazz but only shed disappointment. At a small rice bar in downtown Tokyo, Richard discovers his fated betrothed has committed suicide through a text reading, "They found me. This is the end." 4 blocks from Richard, an old woman has a stroke and collapses against her husband, whose cheap plywood cane snaps from the added weight. His freckled head bounces against the corner of a loose brick against the ground. Blood rains sideways. In Iraq, a young boy gives his last sip of water to an older man whose name he does not know, but whose tired eyes and sandy lips tell a story of great trouble. The home they hide in combusts. The only way they'll live again is as a caricaturized fiction years later. Samantha Barithia Knowles puts on glasses for the first time today. Later, while her mother drives, the car swerves violently and uncontrollably toward oncoming traffic. At this same moment, a large red dog unknowingly stomps the vehicle, crushing its inhabitants. The textures of the mortal realm were lost on this legendary beast. Storytime today featured L. Ron Hubbard's thought-provoking tale, Dianetics. I give Clifford Runs to Storytime a 1 out of 5. Now, the book was compelling, it was rational, and it was fair, and admittedly, it was indeed divisive. I recognize that not everyone is going to agree with my opinion and perspective on this book, but I don't suggest looking at my words as a guidance. I prefer to think of them as a lens to the Clifford experience that is being provided to us. There's no denying Norman Bridwell's brilliance when it comes to the Clifford series, and there is a reality that the essence of Clifford is not so much a distinct view, but rather it is, think of it like a funhouse mirror. Where you stand will drastically change your perspective of what you see. And I don't mean this is fun or it's happening in my house. I just mean that the perspective is so unique depending on how you position it and how you position yourself, that every reading and every mere utterance of Clifford casts a new form that is worth the dissecting, investigating, and just pushing it along to see how it evolves. Because that's what life is all about. It's about evolving. One day I'm going to have 4 arms, and I'm going to wank off with all of them. Misogyny, more like massage a knee. Come on over here, baby. Give my knee a massage. That's what I'm talking about. What? Anyway, today on the Matt Hawker Show was brought to you by Wacky Larry's Inflatable Socks and Pastry Strudel Mattress Stuffing Exploratorium. Wacky Larry's been bringing it to me for a while, and he'll be bringing it to you as well. Check out Wacky Larry's new merchandise and purchase his products to help support the show. The Matt Hawker Show is brought to you by Wacky Larry. Wacky Larry.
I'm wacky. So wacky. Wow. Wow. Wacky Larry. Wacky Larry's mattresses.
Wacky Larry. What a guy. You know, I grew up with him. I didn't. Anyway, thank you for tuning into the show today. You can pay me some money if you want to, or please don't, please let this die. I just want this to end. Please don't do that. Just let it, just kill it. Just kill it. Find where the show came from and kill it. End it. It's the hub. It's where it all... Oh, it's leaking out into the world. There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm just a vessel for its evil. A vessel! You have to go to the source. You have to stop it. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Matt Hawker Show and facebook.com/The Matt Hawker Show. And of course, you can review me on podchaser.com, where all reviews are read by not me. And they're flushed out by someone else. And that was really nice of them to do that, to flush it. I believe that flushing is the answer to most problems, and I like to drink toilet water every night to remind myself that one day I'll be exactly what's supposed to go in here anyway. Have a good night, folks. Or a good morning. Or a good day. And have a good. Have good. Goody good. Please have a good... Please...
I think it was a bass line from the Pixies.